Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to share something as we are approaching, Passion Week and Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Just want to share with you guys some of my story. And this is an important week in the lives of Christians. And so I just want to share some of my story and how I came to be who I am. So yeah, growing up in a Christian home, there wasn't really a time in my life where I didn't feel like I knew who God was, or I didn't at least have a knowledge of God or Jesus or the Bible. It was really just a part of our day-to-day lives. But really, as a young boy, it didn't really mean anything to me for those first early years of my life, as I knew these things, but they didn't really have an impact on my life. But there was a Sunday evening as a young boy. I was 7 years old, and we were in Dundee Baptist Church, and Dad was preaching a Sunday night service. And there was something about that service that I was really just drawn in a lot more. I was able to focus more. As a 7-year-old, it's hard to focus sometimes, of course. But I was able to focus in. I was able to listen to what Dad had to say. And I really began to understand more than just having a knowledge of who God was, who Jesus was, really understanding more, even as a young boy, what that meant for my life, that Jesus loved me, that he died on the cross for my sins, and that if I accepted him as Savior for my sins and of my life, and then placed my trust in him, that I could be saved from my sins and I wouldn't have to one day die and be separated from him. So I understood that evening as a young boy. And so after the service, I went up to my dad and talked to him and said, "Dad, I'd like to give my life to Jesus. I'd like to trust him as my Savior." And so we went up into his office, and he helped me with praying and accepting Christ as my Savior, and Christ forgiving me of my sins. And so now, since that day, I've grown a lot. Of course, I was very childlike faith at age 7 when I gave my life to the Lord. But I would like to say, by God's grace, each year after year, I've grown more in understanding. I've grown more in knowledge of who God is, what he's done for me, what that means for my life. Now, that doesn't mean that life has been easy. It doesn't mean that things have been smooth. I mean, if you know my family, we've gone through many trials in our lives, many over these last couple years. But even in the midst of all of those trials, those hard times, God has proven himself faithful time and time again. He's given me a hope in the midst of hard times. He's given me a joy when we definitely weren't happy about things. He was still giving me a sense of joy. And he's taught me year after year, day after day, that he is someone that I can trust. Even when I don't understand things, even when I don't like how things are turning out, he is a God that I can trust. And I know that because he loved me when I didn't initially love him, and he gave his son for me when he had no reason to do that other than his great love for me. And so I'm just so thankful for my relationship with God. I'm so thankful that I can trust him as my Savior, and I can trust him day to day. Even in these trying times, I have a hope and a joy and a trust that is unwavering because of the God that I serve. So if you've never heard that before, or if you've got questions about that, I'd love to talk with anyone. You're more than welcome to shoot me a message, text me if you've got my number. I'd love to talk with you more about what it means to trust God, trust Jesus, give your life to him, have a relationship with him. Or if you're just interested in hearing more about that, you can follow our church, New Hope Community Church, next Sunday, on Easter Sunday. I'm going to be sharing on my Facebook our Facebook feed of our weekend services, our Easter service, where you can learn more about God's great love for you and what that means for your life. So I'd love to have you join us there, if anything. But again, if you'd like to talk with me more about that, I'd love to share with you more about my story and how God can change your life also. Thanks.